What's up, guys? We're back with a full NBA slate here on Friday, December 6th. We're going to break down every game and look at bets on the side and over-under. And once injury news is confirmed, I'll be adding player props in the pinned comment for several of these games. So don't forget to check back in the early afternoon. Thursday night went pretty well, guys. Not a lot of complaints for me. We had the Packers at plus 3.5. That one came through, Detroit winning that game on a late field goal. Williams there over 49.5 receiving yards at minus 110. That play was as good as gold. We also had Josh Jacobs over 16.5 rushing attempts at minus 110. That prop hit as well. So a pretty clean sweep there on Thursday Night Football. On the NBA side, we had Cleveland minus 3.5. That was a comfortable win for them. We had Dallas minus 11.5. Got on that one early, got the good value. They ended up winning that game by 36 points. So a very easy win there. Unfortunately, Toronto just did not show up for that game against Oklahoma City. They got absolutely destroyed, 129-92. So a really bad game there from the Raptors, who had been playing great recently. We had the Suns minus 1. Turns out that game was a trap. Enough guys were back there for the Pelicans, and they end up getting a very narrow 2-point win. A game that could have went either direction. Looks like we probably should have gone ahead and taken the Suns out of the pinned comment, but we didn't do it, so we got to take our licks there. That was a loss. We also had to have Houston minus 2.5. That game's still going on. The Rockets have cut way into that lead that the Warriors had with Draymond and Curry out. The Golden State, kind of second unit was playing really well, but it looks like that might be coming to an end here in the fourth quarter. So we'll see if Houston can complete that comeback. But regardless, guys, it's looking like a very solid night out there. So we'll take that for sure. If you want to win all of your bets here on Friday, guys, hit that like button. It's good luck and shows support for the channel and all the hard work we're putting in here every single day. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on our daily content. You can now also sign up for a channel membership by clicking the little join button right below the video. Members get exclusive early access to all NFL and college football videos and get their names up on screen just like right now. Really appreciate the support from all of you. Seeing that badge next to your comments makes me feel like the work is all worth it. Comment below with any bets you're looking at today, and I will give you my best advice on all of them. We are committed to responding to every single comment every day, so let us know anything you want to say about my picks, these videos, or anything you see here. As always, our favorite picks will be in the pinned comment down below. Now let's get into our first game of the day. We've got the Orlando Magic going on the road to take on the Philadelphia 76ers. Orlando comes into this game looking pretty healthy, guys. Obviously, we're not going to see, Paolo back yet, but things have gone pretty well for the Magic here in the early part of the schedule. They come into this game fresh off a 106-102 win there at Philadelphia. So they're going to be running it back, playing another game there at the 76ers. We'll see if they can get themselves over the top again. I mean, only putting up 106 points there in the first game, not their most, amazing offensive night. We saw some positive things there. I mean, obviously, we see Franz Wagner going nuts again, putting up 35 points in the win. Jalen Suggs, 17. As a team, though, Orlando shot only 8 of 29 from three-point range. That's 27.6%. That's not normally going to get the job done, but the bench played really well, guys. Jonathan Isaac was 2 of 3 from 3, had 14 points. We had 3 double-digit scores coming off the bench there. Mo Wagner had kind of a down night, only 10 points and 6 rebounds in his 21 minutes. So he's honestly kind of in a bounce-back spot. So we'll see what the Magic can do in this one. Like I was saying, guys, they are pretty healthy coming into this game, and we've seen just great stuff from the Magic all season long. The only guy going to be missing from this one that they've had, kind of recently is Gary Harris, but he's still dealing with that hamstring issue. He won't play in this one. He hasn't played since back on the 25th. So we're not too worried about Gary Harris being out as they go on the road, but they really didn't even have to travel here to take on the 76ers, who obviously were on the losing end of that 106-102 game. They had lost 2 straight coming into this one, so things have not been great for the 76ers this season. They've been borderline as bad as they could possibly be, especially for an NBA team that was planning on coming into this season, and trying to really contend. We didn't like really what we saw from, Maxey was okay out there, except for the three-point shooting, ice cold. He was 0 of 7 there from deep. As a team, the 76ers shot nearly 40% from 3, though. Not a terrible night. They got crushed on the boards, though. That's not a great look. Caleb Martin has been demoted to the second unit. That did not really seem to help too much. He only had 9 points there. The second unit looked pretty terrible. Obviously, we didn't have Paul George in this game, so that doesn't help, and obviously still no Embiid. This squad really just struggling out there. Not a lot of positives. Jared McCain continues to play really well. He actually led the team in scoring, 3 of 6 from 3, 10 of 17 from the field, a +6 in his 24 minutes. Not a lot of guys putting up positive plus minuses in this game for the 76ers, but Jared McCain, I don't know, guys. I find those TikTok dances and kind of his whole personality a little cringy, but the kid can play, absolutely no doubt about that. In this game, guys, we do see Paul George slated to be back. We see Joel Embiid still going to be out here, so having Paul George back, will that help? Will that hurt? I would say it's probably a net positive, but Bro has not been playing his best this season. He's really been all over the place. Some games very, very good. Some games very, very bad. So looking at the numbers for this one, we see the 76ers getting 2.5 points here playing at home. We've got an over-under of 210.5. Orlando 6-9 against the spread on the road. They're 8-7 to the under playing away from home. Philadelphia only 3-7 against the spread at home. They're 5-5 to the over-under at home. Guys, I think this is a very good spot to take the Orlando Magic -2.5. I know the last game was a little bit close, but I don't think this next one will be as close. Orlando did not play up to their capability in that game. They don't seem like a team that's really messing around. I think we'll see, a very high effort game. Clearly, there's nobody on the 76ers that can slow down really either Wagner brother, but definitely not Franz Wagner. He's playing amazing this season, looking like a lock to be an all-star, and dude is just killing it out there. And this Orlando Magic team is showing plenty of depth, so I think they come with a comfortable win and cover here against the 76ers. That over-under of 210.5, not really something I'm interested in. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the Los Angeles Lakers going on the road to take on the Atlanta Hawks. The Lakers have hit some pretty hard times recently. They just got blown out 134-93 at the Miami Heat. Their road trip continues. They've got to go on the road here to take on the Hawks. We see all kinds of crazy news swirling around the Lakers after that. Another terrible game. LeBron did put up 29 points in the loss. He was 12 of 18 from the field, but nobody else really showed up. I mean, we saw Anthony Davis only score 8 points in the game. He was 3 of 14 from the field. Really, really weak stuff. The Lakers shot only 5 of 22 from long range in the game. They got crushed on the boards, just completely dominated on the boards there from the Heat. And yeah, the Lakers just did not show up for this one. I mean, Dalton Knecht continues his shooting slump. He only played 23 minutes. He was 0 of 2 from 3. Yeah, seems like teams are kind of figuring out what to do against him. And all of a sudden, it's not, looking quite so hot out there. Max Christie scored 11 points off the bench, but he was the only double-digit scorer there off the bench. Nobody really had a particularly good night out there for the Lakers except for LeBron. He finally made a 3. He was 1 for 4 on the night, so let's not freak out too much. And he was a -21 out there. Anthony Davis was a -29. So really not impressed at all with what we're seeing from the Lakers at this point in the season. It's been pretty brutal. We have LeBron questionable for this game. Everybody, there are people out there calling for JJ Redick to be fired. I don't think that's even remotely, the right that's not the problem behind the problem is this isn't a very good basketball team, guys. They just don't have very many pieces outside of LeBron, who's not going to have it every night, and outside of Anthony Davis, who isn't going to really try every night, it doesn't look like. So yeah, other than that, they don't have a whole lot of pieces. I don't know how they change that except for through the draft. I don't think they have a lot of great trade assets, lurking. So we'll see what they do on that front. In terms of their injury report for this game, it's very, very crowded. We see Austin Reeves. He is marked as out right now. Yeah, he will not play in this Friday game against the Hawks, so he's going to be out with that pelvis issue. We see LeBron and Anthony Davis both on the injury report, like we were saying. AD is always on there. LeBron being questionable, though, due to his left foot soreness. I don't know. That does not bode well. He's been trying to play all 82 games. That was kind of his goal for this season. I don't think that's a reasonable goal for him at this age and at this point in his career. So I don't know. Seems like a very reasonable shot that he ends up sitting this one out. Anthony Davis continues to deal with that foot issue. He's probable for this one, and he's in a big bounce back spot. Absolutely no doubt about that. Dude did not show up there in Miami. Maybe he had some other things going on there in South Beach. So we'll see what they can do in this one as they go on the road in Atlanta to take on the Hawks, who come into this game playing pretty well, guys. They've won 5 in a row now. They just got the 119-104 win there at the Milwaukee Bucks. We were on the Hawks in that game, so thank you, Atlanta, for coming through for us. In that game, guys, they just continued to kill it out there. Loved what we saw. I mean, we saw great stuff from, Jalen Johnson played really well. Trae Young continues to play well and play facilitator. 7 assists. He did have 4 turnovers. He was 0 of 9 from three-point range. Who would have thought, guys, that the Atlanta Hawks would win a game this season where Trae Young went 0 of 9 from 3? That's crazy. That is crazy, crazy talk. You could have never, ever convinced me they could win a game like that. You also probably couldn't have convinced me that they were going to win a game mostly based on their bench playing so well. DeAndre Hunter, 20 points. He was a plus 15 off the bench. We saw Bogdan Bogdanovic. He had 15 points off the bench, was a plus 19. As a team, the Hawks shot only 28.1% from three-point range and still won this game, thanks in large part to dominating the boards there against Milwaukee. The Hawks had 15 boards. Milwaukee only had 4. 40. So great stuff there from the Hawks that continue to just play their asses off right now. Just great stuff from them across the board. They also come into this game healthy, guys. Trae Young is on the injury report. He's listed as day-to-day. He's probable for this one. So yeah, I don't think that Achilles soreness or whatever is going on there is going to keep him out of this game. And yeah, with Dyson Daniels out there playing amazing defense, Jalen Johnson playing really well, and the bench looking so good. I mean, we got Clint Capella out there. He can at least throw a big body in the way of Anthony Davis if we see, a motivated Anthony Davis by some miracle. So yeah, this looking like a spot. We might want to be on the Atlanta Hawks here, guys. They are -3.5 for this game. We've got an over-under of 231.5. The Lakers are only 3-9 against the spread on the road. They're 7-5 to the under on the road. Atlanta 4-7 against the spread at home, so not amazing. Don't get me wrong. And they're 8-3 to the over at home. I don't care about that over/under 231.5. I do like the Hawks here at -3.5. I'm not 100% sure if this is going to end up in the pinned comment. I am a little bit worried about the Lakers, even without LeBron, being super motivated for this game and playing a little bit better. But how much better can they really play, guys? This is not a very good roster. So give me the Atlanta Hawks at home in this one. I think they win comfortably. Next on the docket, we've got our first nationally televised game on the slate. We've got the Milwaukee Bucks going on the road to take on the Boston Celtics there on ESPN. The Bucks come into this one fresh off that loss against the Hawks we were just talking about. 119-104, not even really that close. I mean, we did see good stuff from Giannis as we expect. He put up 31 points, 11 boards, 5 assists, but didn't get a ton of help. I mean, Dame played well in the game. Don't get me wrong, like 25 points. 8 of 14 from the field, 5 of 9 from 3, like very good stuff out there. He did have 5 turnovers, which isn't great. As a team, we saw Milwaukee turn the ball over 22 times. Atlanta's playing some pretty good defense. Like you got to give him some credit there. Giannis continues to really struggle from the free throw line, guys. He was 15 of 26 in the game. Getting to the line 26 times, dope. Only making 15 of them makes you look real bad. The Bucks lost this game despite shooting 33% from three-point range, which obviously isn't amazing, but also is not terrible. We didn't see anything great from the bench. I mean, Gary Trent Jr. continues to play much better here as a bench option, but is he somebody that I think is going to turn the tide for this team? I don't think so. I mean, not a lot of guys coming off the bench here from Milwaukee that scare me. Bobby Portis had a pretty mediocre day. 18 minutes, 6 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. He did have a couple steals mixed in there too, so maybe not the worst outing, but still not amazing. This team relies way too much on the scoring of Giannis and Dame, and really nobody else is stepping up in a major way. I mean, yeah, we saw Brook Lopez score 5 points in 35 minutes. That's not going to cut it. They need more production out there from somebody, and we'll see if they get it in this one. I have my concerns, though. I mean, we see Chris Middleton still on the injury report. Obviously, we see Giannis on there, but he's always on there. Middleton is going to be available. He's going to be playing here in this game against the Celtics, finally coming back from that ankle issue. He's taken his time coming back, or at least so it would appear. So the idea would be that we're going to get at least close to the full strength Chris Middleton here, but I am not going to be, too bullish on him. I do think there's a decent chance he'll be on some sort of minutes restriction, and probably a pretty tight minutes restriction. So I don't think we'll see him out there for more than maybe 25 minutes or something like that, but we'll see what happens. Giannis, obviously he's, continuously dealing with something. He's probable for this game. There's no reason to think he's going to sit out, but keep an eye on that. They are not afraid to scratch Giannis from games late. They don't care if it's a nationally televised game or not. So we'll see what the Bucks can do here as they take on the Boston Celtics, who are 18-4 on the season. They're coming into this game off of a 130-120 win there over the Pistons. Pretty crazy game. You're not probably supposed to be giving up 120 points there against the Detroit Pistons, but they got the win, so I don't think they have to be too worried about it, guys. I mean, yeah, Boston clearly one of the most dominant teams out there this year. We saw, Sam Hauser. He started this game. He played 31 minutes. He scored 20 points. Jaylen Brown had 28. It was a game we saw Tatum not play. Porzingis played really well in his 29 minutes. He was a plus 16 and scored 26 points. So just a really good night. Peyton Pritchard continues to absolutely kill out there. Bro gets hate for I don't know what reason. Gilbert Arenas can shut up. This is getting out of control. White guys can't go out on the basketball court and play. Look at Pritchard's numbers this season. Sam Hauser scoring 20 points in a game in 31 minutes. This is fine. What is his problem? I don't get it. Don't at me, Gilbert Arenas podcast, but whatever. Derek White did struggle in the game. I expect a bounce back from him, but a very nice night out there for the Boston Celtics. No doubt about that. So we'll see what they can get done in this one. In terms of their injury report, we do still see Tatum on there. Porzingis is on there as well. Obviously, these are very important guys to have for this game. Tatum officially questionable for this one. I would say he's probably closer to probable. Yeah, I mean, it's that right patellar tendinopathy that he's been dealing with all season long. So I think we see him playing this game, but gonna have to wait for some clarity there closer to game time. Porzingis also listed as questionable, but basically with just injury management there. So we'll see what happens. I would think they would want those guys out there for a game that should at least in theory be a test for the Celtics, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. They're going to keep that under wraps until closer to game time. Maybe we'll find out, halfway through the day or something like that. So make sure you're checking back on that pinned comment. We will be trying to add, some player props in there, and we'll try to be giving some clarity on, these injury situations, which in NBA games, guys, can be very late breaking and very late developing. So we'll see what happens. The Celtics are 6.5-point favorites in this game. We've got an over/under of 230.5. Milwaukee 4-5 against the spread on the road. They're 5-4 to the under playing away from home. Boston 4-7 against the spread at home and 7-4 to the over at home. Guys, if we see anything close to the full strength Celtics, I'm going to need either Tatum or Porzingis, obviously both would be great, to play in this game. If they both play, we love Boston here at -6.5. We'll see if that happens. It doesn't seem like it's a lock to happen, but I do think there's a decent chance. I mean, they're playing at home. It's not like they're playing on back-to-back nights or anything like that. So I think there's a good chance we see them both play. And if we do, I think we see the Celtics probably win this game by double figures, if I'm being honest. So got to wait for a little bit of injury clarity on that one, but definitely think this is a spot to be taking the Celtics. Rolling right along here, guys, we're looking at the Indiana Pacers. They're going on the road in this game to take on the Chicago Bulls. The Pacers are having not as bad of a season as the 76ers, but things are getting real bleak. I thought they were in a bounce-back spot after losing at Toronto in their game at Brooklyn, but they were not. Apparently, they lost that one 99-90 their last time out to fall to 9-14 on the season. Halliburton not looking great out there in general this season. He led the team with 17 points there against Brooklyn. What is going on? Indiana shot only 8 of 33 from three-point range. Just nobody could really get anything going. Halliburton had 17. Miles Turner had 11. Pascal Siakam had 14. But other than that, it was real bad, guys. I mean, just TJ McConnell, 14 points on the bench. Okay, go get him, TJ. But they didn't look good on the boards. They didn't shoot the ball well. They didn't get to the free throw line a ton. And it was just really, really bleak. This team seems disjointed. Something feels broken. I know they've had some injuries this year, but it hasn't been that bad. I mean, Nembhard didn't play in this game. So, maybe some of this can be blamed on injuries and not having the people available that you expected to have available this season. But it is really looking bleak. I mean, this is a team that was supposed to be taking the next step towards being an actual contender there. A team that was supposed to be able to probably not threaten Boston, but threaten to be second behind Boston or something like that. And that just has not happened this year. So we'll see if they can bounce back after another loss. Come into this one, we've got Nembhard on the injury report. Aaron Nesmith still going to be out here for for a while. We'll see how long it actually is, but for a bit, Nembhard is questionable there with his ongoing knee issue in this game, against the Bulls. So we'll see if he comes back. It seems like it is far from a certainty that he will be back out there on the floor, though. So we'll see what they can do here on the road against the Chicago Bulls, who are 10-13 on the year, but they've won back-to-back games, including a blowout win there against the Brooklyn Nets, a shared opponent there. So something to keep in mind a little bit. Their last time out, guys, the Bulls beat the San Antonio Spurs 139-124, so a dominant game. Vujacic went nuts. He had 39 points in the win, 39 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. He was 2 of 6 from 3, but 16 of 22 from the field. Just very good stuff. Zach LaVine seemed more than willing to take the back seat in that game. He had 11 points, 9 assists, and 9 rebounds, so flirted with a triple-double. Ayo Dosunmu had a big game, plus 23 from him, a 27-point day, 10 rebounds, and 11 assists. So he actually posted a triple-double that did not get the press that deserved. A very nice day from him, albeit against the short-handed Spurs, who didn't have Wembanyama. So let's not freak out too much, but it was a very good game from the Chicago Bulls, across the board. Taylor Horton-Tucker scored in double figures. Buzelis scored in double figures. Very good. Dalen Terry scored 12 points. They shot 45.9% from three-point range. This is definitely a Bulls team that can surprise some opponents. Although, like I said, taking down the Spurs in a game they didn't even have Wemby might not be the biggest deal. So regardless, a nice night for Chicago, who's maybe not going to have the most nice nights this season. They come into this one, we see Kobe White, Patrick Williams, and Lonzo Ball all on the injury report. Kobe White, he will not play. He did not play against the Spurs. We know that. We want to know if he's going to play here in this game. It seems like it's very unclear whether or not this is going to happen. I mean, he rolled his ankle on Friday. Maybe he could be getting close to a comeback, but I think that's at least slightly unlikely. Patrick Williams dealing with that foot issue, and he's not going to be out there in this game, it appears. And Lonzo Ball, guys, still trying to make his way back. He did not play on Thursday there, due to rest. So I think there's a good chance that we see him out there in this one. And looking at the numbers for this game, we see the Bulls are getting 3 points playing at home. We've got an over/under of 245.5. Chicago did play last night in San Antonio. That was they're playing on back-to-back nights here, and over the course of the year. They're 1-4 against the spread on no rest, so that doesn't look amazing. The Pacers, though, are 3-10 against the spread on the road. They're 7-6 to the over on the road. Chicago 5-5 against the spread at home and 6-4 to the over at home. Guys, I don't really want much from this game. I would side, if you're forcing me, slightly towards the Bulls and the points playing at home, but I think the over might be the better value, even though it's a huge inflated number. But just in general, this isn't a game that I'm super interested in. Just thought I'd give you the rundown to let you see where I'm at with this matchup. Next up, we're looking at the Sacramento Kings. They're going on the road to take on the San Antonio Spurs. The Kings are 10-13 on the season, not having the year they imagined. They come into this game fresh off of a loss last night. They lost at the Memphis Grizzlies 115-110 in a game where we saw Ja get ejected. So yeah, the Kings just couldn't make it happen once again. They're having a very, very rough time. In that 115-110 loss, we saw DeRozan lead the team in scoring again with 26 points. I don't think the idea behind bringing DeRozan in was for him to take over this team, but De'Aaron Fox did have a bad shooting night. He was 0 of 7 from 3, 8 of 23 from the field. He was actually a -4 out there, but DeRozan was a -12 despite scoring 26 points and getting to the free throw line a bunch on some very phantom calls. We saw Ja Morant get ejected for being just super, super upset about a foul call on him, which was clearly not a foul. But what are you going to do? You kind of got to roll with it a little bit. Don't get one of those Draymond Green attitudes going, or all of a sudden things could look really, really bleak for your career and you're going to get no calls ever for the rest of your life. Sabonis had a nice night, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, 17 points, but he was still a -5. We saw some guys play off the bench. Okay, Herter, but only 6 points there in his 25 minutes. That's not great. Isaac Jones, 9 points in 16 minutes. Like, the depth for this team is really not there. They shot only 22.9% from three-point range. Shocker that adding a guy like DeMar DeRozan to your team has tanked your three-point shooting. So we'll see what they can do in this one, guys. I mean, their injury report's looking very clean. Everybody apparently is going to be available for this game. Keep an eye on that, though. You never really know on back-to-back nights. Things can change pretty quick. And where the spread is at makes me a little bit concerned that they might not be playing everybody. So we'll see what happens. The Spurs 11-11 on the year. They're coming off of losing 3 out of their last 4. They lost in that 139-124 shootout against the Chicago Bulls in a game where they didn't have Wembanyama. So that obviously changes things a lot. We saw pretty weak shooting across the board for the Spurs. 8 of 28 from long range. They shot 39 free throws. Like, they had a huge free throw edge, still couldn't keep this game particularly close. They got dominated on the boards. They turned the ball over 17 times, so that's not a terrible number, but definitely not great. Sohan had 14 rebounds and 16 points, so a good night for him, I guess, if he wants to try and be the main character in his 36 minutes. But did that lead to a win? It absolutely did not. The Spurs played very little defense. Keldon Johnson had 28 points off the bench, so that's very, very good, but none of that translated into success here, despite going against a pretty weak opponent. So we'll see what the Spurs can do here. We see Wembanyama and Trey Jones both on the injury report, but other than that, it's looking clean. Wembanyama will not play. He did not play there on Thursday due to lower back soreness, so we'll see if he comes back for this one. Obviously, that's not news that they're going to give us here right away, but I think there's a good chance he comes back. Trey Jones, guys, he's going to be out for quite a while. Going to miss a few weeks there. That shoulder injury not looking great. So we'll see what happens. Leaning a little bit in this game, probably towards the Kings in a bounce back spot, despite the fact they're playing on no rest. San Antonio is getting 3 points at home. We've got an over-under of 227.5. Both teams played last night, so we'll see what happens. I mean, the Kings played in Memphis and had to go from Memphis to San Antonio. That's not too bad of a flight, and the Spurs, didn't have to travel at all. The Kings 1-4 against the spread on no rest. The Spurs 2-2 against the spread on no rest. No huge trends here that really help us too much. Both teams showing trends towards the under, though, and with a total of 227.5. I definitely think under has some value in this game. I don't think we'll see a crazy amount of offense, especially with the way these two teams have been shooting the ball. I also think, in addition to that under, I probably want to side towards the Kings here at -3, but I don't know if any of those plays have a chance of making it into the pinned comment. I don't love the spot for either one of these squads. Moving right along here, guys, we've got our other nationally televised game of the night. We've got the Minnesota Timberwolves going on the road to take on the Golden State Warriors, and this game's going to be on ESPN. The Timberwolves are now 11-10 on the season, fresh off of a third straight win. They dominated the Clippers, guys. At the Clippers, they had a 108-80 win. Very, very good stuff there. Julius Randle put up 20 points in the game, and yeah, I don't know. We continue to see the marginalization of Anthony Edwards on this team. It's pretty nuts. He was, he just seems like he's their spot up shooter. Like, I did not have Anthony Edwards turning into Klay Thompson on the docket for me this season, but when you've got Rudy Gobert there just chilling in the paint the entire time, and Julius Randle being the biggest ball stopper in the NBA now, probably. Who's a bigger ball stopper? I'm not sure who, but yeah, Julius Randle definitely going to keep the rock every time he gets it. Dude did have 4 assists, posted a plus 28, scored 20 points. Good job. Congratulations. I think he makes this team worse. So we'll see what happens down the stretch, but yeah, Anthony Edwards, only 16 points. He was a plus 27, so that's nice. The bench played really well in this game. I mean, Luka Garza even had 10 points in his 8 minutes. He was getting in some work out there, and Naz Reid, a plus 15, only 4 points. Dante DiVincenzo, 1 of 4 from 3, 1 of 5 from the field. As a team, the Timberwolves shot only 36.4% from 3, but they managed to get a comfortable win, so hey, good job. Take that win against the Clippers in a game they didn't even play Norman Powell, and Bones Highland ended up being the leading scorer. So we'll see what the Timberwolves can do in this one. I'm still not sold on this group. It's going to take a lot more than one little win. They are healthy coming into this game, so that's a big plus at this point in the season. So congrats on staying healthy, but as long as you've got a roster that still has Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle on it, and they're playing starters minutes, and they're out there all the time, and Julius Randle has apparently a very green light, and Anthony Edwards can't get to the bucket, which is what he should be doing as much as possible, I'm not going to be super high on you, even as they go on the road here to take on the Golden State Warriors, who are hanging tough still against Houston. They've got a 4-point lead there with a minute and a half left. So unless we see another one of these patented Warriors collapses that they've had this season, they might be getting the win here, which it would cost us. That would suck to not get that Houston play right, but still going to be a nice positive night, so we're not sweating it too hard. The Warriors had been struggling, and in this game against the Rockets, they didn't have either of their, I guess Draymond's a star. I don't know how to quantify that really, but Curry did not play in this game. Draymond didn't play in this game. Wiggins is playing great, though. 22 minutes from him. Kuminga's having maybe a career night. He's got 28 points and is a plus 7. He's 3 of 6 from 3, so great stuff from him. Buddy Hield still struggling to shoot the ball. He got off to that insanely hot start, and I was like, this guy is amazing. Like, why was he buried on the bench there for the 76ers and some other teams? But yeah, that seems to be kind of turning around here. The Warriors are having a really good night on the boards, so I guess we got to give them some credit there, but they're going to have to play this one on back-to-back nights. Although, if we're going to see, a rested and healthy Draymond and a rested and healthy Curry, maybe that doesn't matter so much. Podziemski, I guess, if he can't score, which he's only got 8 points in the game, he's decided to rebound. He's got 12 boards so far, so they're doing some positive stuff out there, but I'm a little bit worried about this Warriors team still. It feels like they're still missing something, but it also feels like they have plenty of trade assets to go out and get something. So we'll see what happens there. Obviously, Steph and Draymond were out for the game against Houston. Will they be back for this one? We'll kind of have to wait and see. I'll be pretty surprised if they won't. I mean, Curry is literally down as rest injury management. Draymond also, he should be fine. MRI on his calf came back clean. I do think there's a good chance we'll see him back here on Friday against the Timberwolves, depending on how his body responds to, a day off. So we'll see what happens there. I'm expecting the Warriors to be healthy for this game, and given the line that we're seeing, it appears that the odds makers expect that too. The Warriors are 2-point favorites here playing at home. We've got an over-under of 220.5. Minnesota, 5-5 against the spread on the road. They're 5-5 to the over-under when playing away from home. Golden State, 1-1 against the spread on no rest. They're 5-3 against the spread at home and 4-4 to the over-under when playing at home. With an over-under of 220.5, I'd probably lean just a hair towards the over, but not an over-under spot that I'm interested in. I am slightly interested here in the Warriors at -2, just because I think the Timberwolves are in for a down performance after such a hot shooting night from Julius Randle. I don't think we see that again. I do worry about Anthony Edwards, who's really going to do a good job of guarding him on the perimeter there for the Warriors. We'll see what happens in that one, but I am leaning a bit here towards the Warriors at -2, but we got to wait for some more clarity there on the injury report. Last but not least here, guys, we've got the tale of two tankers. We've got the Utah Jazz going on the road to take on the Portland Trail Blazers. The Jazz are only 4-17 on the year. They come into this game fresh off a 133-106 beat down there at the hands of the Oklahoma City Thunder. This team is trying to lose. There's no way around it. No ifs, ands, or buts. We saw all 5 starters score in double figures, but nobody's playing extended minutes. Markkanen only 1 of 6 from 3, 4 of 11 from the field in general. Seems like the guy is struggling to find motivation here. He got paid, so good job, but he's playing for a team he knows is trying to lose games, and that has to be super disheartening. We did see some guys play well off the bench, but nothing too insane. And really, guys, it's rough to see teams trying to lose games, and you can't blame them. That's what you got to do to find long-term success. But guys like John Collins, I'd like to see him playing on a good team. Colin Sexton's putting up nice numbers. Keontae George is back and he's playing pretty well. So I'd like to see the Jazz doing some things to try and put these guys in winning positions as they continue their rebuild here. In terms of their injury report, we see Jordan Clarkson on there. We see Kyle Filipowski on there. They've been on this injury report a lot this season. Clarkson, he's with his foot issue, he's been ruled out for this game. Filipowski with the lower leg issue, he has been ruled out as well. But other than that, seems like they're going to let everybody play. So I guess we should be grateful for what we get here as they go on the road to take on the Portland Trailblazers, who now lost 4 out of their last 5. They got blown out their last time out, losing 127-105 against the Clippers. So that wasn't a great look. Yeah, Portland, I don't know, guys. I mean, another team just trying to lose games. Not as well as Utah is, but they're trying to lose games for sure. We saw their last time out, Anthony Simons, a terrible shooting night. It was tragic out there. Ayton had a decent night, 16 points, but only 3 rebounds. Like, bro, you're a center. Rebound the ball. Jeremy Grant, 12 points. I guess he's trying to audition a little bit for other teams. Some decent shooting off the bench, stuff like that. I mean, Banton did okay, but yeah, just not a lot of positives here. They had 29 rebounds in the entire game. Like, just not a good night out there for the Blazers. They're just not a good team. They're trying to lose, and they're pretty much making that happen. So we'll see if they continue to make that happen in this one. Looking at their injury report, we see Scoot's going to be out. Robert Williams III probably out. Donovan Klingen's still probably out. So, yeah, kind of what we've gotten used to seeing here from Portland, but nothing too out of the ordinary. And looking at the numbers, we see the Blazers are actually 2.5-point favorites. We've got an over-under of 225.5. Utah, 5-5 against the spread on the road. They're 6-4 to the over on the road. Portland, 6-4 against the spread at home, and 5-5 to the over/under at home. This isn't a spot that I love, guys, because both teams are trying to lose. I am siding here with Portland minus 2.5. I think they're worse at losing. Not better at winning, but worse at losing. So give me the Blazers here, minus 2.5, but this would be the smallest of small leans. I just don't trust either one of these teams, what they're going to do on a nightly basis. I think the Jazz have more talent, but Portland is letting their guys try to win a little bit more. So I don't know, a really weird spot, probably a game that I'm going to be more than happy to ignore. All the games we have for today, guys. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. See you tomorrow. We're going to have a college football video, maybe with some college basketball action thrown in there as well, or some NBA. We'll see how that goes, but we will see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.